Hi, everybody. My name is Alexis Noriega. I'm an associate producer here at Forbes, and once a week, I step in front of the camera to bring you a box office breakdown. I'm joined now by Marisa Dellatto, a wealth reporter here at Forbes who focuses on entertainment. Okay, Marisa, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Okay, so we haven't talked in 2 weeks. I feel like I've missed a lot. Can you do me a favor and give me a brief overview, a little rundown of what I've missed the last 2 weeks?
Sure. So, obviously Barbie, Oppenheimer have continued to dominate like crazy. Barbie is now the second highest grossing movie of the year, keeping very close on Super Mario Bros., which was released in the spring. Oppenheimer's also continued to be super successful. They are no longer number one and two on the box office charts. This week, Blue Beetle, an action superhero film from DC, replaced Barbie as number one. But otherwise, they've kind of still continued to lead. They're the story of the summer by all means.
Yeah, I definitely saw that Barbie was finally unseated. But I have a question for you. Is it surprising that Blue Beetle was the movie to do this?
I think Blue Beetle got lucky in the sense of that it had been released once. Once Barbie it's been, almost a month of Barbie now. If you really haven't seen it yet, you're not going to. It's going to be released on digital soon. It was really an opportune time for Blue Beetle, I'd say. I think any new release maybe would have done it. It only grossed, $25.4 million domestically this weekend when Barbie was, declining. Still doing very well though at 21.5 million. So, it was more good timing for Blue Beetle rather than I'd say a reflection of Blue Beetle's success.
Quick question. So, how is Blue Beetle comparing to the rest of the DC films? I saw that it was had the lowest opening weekend of all DC films.
Yeah, DC's definitely been struggling lately. So far, it only has a 70, varied on Rotten Tomatoes, 76% from reviewers, 92% from audiences. And audiences also gave it a B plus. So kind of like, it's warm, it's okay. It's definitely not, a franchise maker. It's not anything that I think people are really latching on to. And that's one because there is that such Marvel competition that we've talked about that it's really hard for anyone to compete with that. We also, as we've also spoken about, have these issues with actors because of the SAG strikes not being able to promote their work. So there definitely are a few things working against it. But unfortunately, yeah, it's not. It's clearly people don't hate it who have seen it. I don't know if anyone's rushing out to see it though.
I wanted to ask because Blue Beetle is another Warner Brothers Discovery film. We saw
Yeah.
Barbie, we saw The Flash. So, how is this comparing? Is this helping Warner Brothers this year? Is it hurting them? How are they doing overall?
Warner Brothers is really going to be riding that Barbie success train. I believe Barbie is the highest grossing Warner Brothers film ever released. So it's really, it's going to be hard to even compare to that. Overall, obviously, before it with The Flash, Blue Beetle, these weren't huge successes, and so they're kind of dealing with really high highs and low lows. So they're kind of dealing with kind of both extremes here.
So I also saw that, I don't want to just talk about the big dogs. There were small dogs too, and those small dogs were the movie Stray. So can you tell us a little bit about how they did and how it was received?
Yeah, it was Stray's first weekend. It's definitely like a fun, silly movie. We got some big celebs in there. Grossed 8.3 million domestically, not crazy. But people are responding who are going to see it. It's got a B plus on Cinema Score. So audiences are, somewhat resonating with it. I think it is going to be one of those like silly summer films you see on a late night because you can, and it's summer and it's fun. So I don't think it's going
Yeah.
to be, Oscar nominated or anything, but definitely, worth noting it did come out this week for sure.
Yeah, I would say I'd be a little bit surprised if I saw a bunch of talking dogs played by Will Ferrell and Jamie Foxx being nominated for Oscar for Best Directing.
Right.
Or exactly. Summer's kind of coming to an end. It's winding down a little bit. How is that going to affect the box office?
So we're definitely going to see a change in the type of movies that come out, instead of those, fun, easy summer flicks that maybe we've seen or, some of the more serious ones. You're going to see a switch to, we're going to start seeing the pre-Halloween horror films. That's going to start coming out right about now, and they kind of already have, just like we're seeing, horror film TV shows starting to come out that'll finish up in October. That's going to start to change, and then we're going to be in the pre-Oscar season, which is going to be very exciting. Also a little bit up in the air because, again, not sure when the SAG strike is going to end. It has affected the Emmy Awards, so it's not clear how it's going to affect Oscar season, and if studios are going to decide to push projects. One, because they're not going to have projects being made, and two, they're not going to be able to promote what they're putting out. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the year goes going into the next few months for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely excited for Oscar season. I think those will hopefully hold some good conversations. Hopefully we can see the end of the writers and actors strike. Is there anything else coming out next week that we can look forward to?
Sure, Gran Turismo's coming out, another big action-y adventure franchise, with some big names like David Harbour and Orlando Bloom attached to it. I'm excited to see Bottoms, which I think will be really funny. So yeah, definitely. I don't think anything, again, that's going to be crazy huge, but I don't think we have any big red flags either.
Yeah, they all can't be Barbie, unfortunately.
Nope.
But I'm really excited to check in with you next week. Thank you so much, Marissa.
Thanks for having me. Talk to you then.